put this in perspective, really, because the size and the extent of the sell-off, what really got the market so spooked? Was it really, when it comes to tech, the China situation rather than the rate situation?
I mean, I think you can kind of pick your poison, right? That it's the same issues that we've seen infect the rest of the U.S. stock market. Worries about interest rates, worries about stretched stock valuations, particularly for these growth-dependent kinds of tech companies like Netflix, like Amazon. And then we've seen in the chip sector, the tariff worries are really where that's started to be felt. And the semiconductor stocks really have all sold off this month.
And that, of course, linked to the Bloomberg Business Week story about concerns about hardware hacking, too. Let's spin it forward, because come Tuesday, we start to get a bit more insight into the strength of these businesses, particularly one very hyper-growth company being Netflix.
Yeah, I think Netflix is going to be really interesting to watch when they report earnings on Tuesday. We saw the last quarter, there were some hiccups in subscriber growth, and the shares sold off very sharply. And now, earnings outlook is going to be even more important given the anxiety that we've seen about all of these factors, including tech stock valuations. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one to set the tone for the rest of the tech earnings season.
It was interesting today. We got a window into what's happening in the banking sector. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, for example, Citi coming out with numbers. And even though they beat in many marks, they still there was still caution on their stock trading. They couldn't hold on to their gains because of seemingly comments coming from executives. So it's going to be really important to listen to the calls as well as just look at the numbers, right?
I think that's right. I mean, people are looking for any excuse to be anxious right now. That just seems to be the market sentiment that we're in, at least today. We'll see what happens next week. And so you're right, that tone and caution or optimism are going to be really important kinds of things to listen for.
Also, there's still ongoing concerns about certain companies' business models, and they're once again taking a hit not only from the nervousness surrounding trade, but also regulatory issues. I mean, today again we hear about Facebook and indeed Alphabet's Google being sued on their Google Plus issues.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenon that we've really seen the last couple of years, is this regulatory overhang, particularly on Google and Facebook, but not only those companies, and it's inescapable. It seems like this is going to be basically the cost of doing business for these big tech companies, is just these fears that regulatory pressures are really going to pinch their profits or pinch their growth. And right now it's all theoretical, but we'll see what happens.